Hey, welcome to this episode. In this episode, we speak all things BD, business development. So, I've spent the last 5 years in business development in different flavors, both as a business owner and a consultant for various projects, both in the B2B SaaS/AI and the Web3 space. Now, what I've learned over the last 5 years is sales is both discipline and an art form. In this video, we are going to cover different ways in which you can succeed as a B2B SaaS or AI company or a Web3 company that is scouting for partnerships or integrations. Now, if you're a SaaS entrepreneur, AI entrepreneur, or you're a Web3 partnerships lead, or you could be a sales professional, a BD professional in any of these fields or even beyond, well, then this episode is for you. I'm going to break down some of my learnings over the last 5 years as both a business owner as well as a consultant to different projects in the SaaS, AI, and Web3 spaces. Just a little bit more, I have over 1,000 different groups created with projects in both Web2 and Web3, which basically translates to more than 1,000 leads that I may have collected using my sales strategies. Now, if you watch this video, I will help you do the same as well. Disclaimer is I'm not going to give you any sort of secret sauce, but I'm going to give you some good tips and strategies which will help you architecture your sales process. Now, the first thing you need to do is to segment your audience. Now, once you've understood what your total obtainable market is and serviceable market is, you need to form segments. Who is your product or service serving? Is it startups with less than $1 million in revenue and less than 20 employees in a particular sector? Let's just say it's B2B startups that are building out SaaS products. Well, that could be one segment. You need to find out as many segments as you can, and the more detailed you can be in forming each of these segments, the easier it will be for you to analyze the data once you start your campaigns and to double down on those segments that are actually giving you the highest return on investment. Now, the second thing that you need to do to architect your sales engine is to create an offer. Now, each of these different segments that you created in the first step, they need to have a special offer, a personalized or contextualized offer. Now, how do you go about creating an offer? You first need to understand the desires and fears of each of these segments. What may they come to you for when they buy your product or service? What's in it for them? How can you give them the confidence to buy your product or service and to forego any sort of resistance that they might have in that buying decision? Well, you can do that by creating a good offer that inculcates certain triggers like scarcity. Positioning your product or service as something that is scarce and not available to everyone increases the perceived value of it in the eyes of potential buyers. You need to create a sense of urgency. This will cause your buyers or potential buyers to actually go ahead and buy your product faster. Besides this, you also need to create some sort of guarantees. If you do not create guarantees, then people will not have the confidence to go ahead and buy your product. Guarantees can come in the form of money back guarantees or certain performance based guarantees saying that you will get X result if you do end up buying the product or service. Beyond this, it makes a lot of sense to create case studies and testimonials based on previous customer feedback or customer testimonials from that particular segment. For example, if you're going to sell into a B2B SaaS company, then having testimonials from similar B2B SaaS companies of similar size will motivate the buyer more. So this is something you need to keep in mind when you create an offer. A very good book to read is 100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi, and he breaks down the art and science of creating award-winning offers. So do check that one out if you're interested in creating an award-winning offer. Now, the third thing of architecting your sales engine is the actual distribution of or launching of campaigns to reach the different segments or the different buyers within those segments. Now, you can use different channels to reach out to your potential audience or segments. Now, this could be in the form of outreach emails. It could be in the form of warm connects, getting connected through somebody that may know a potential buyer in that particular segment that you're trying to reach out to. It could be through events. Now, Now, there's multiple pathways, but broadly, you could use a one-to-one strategy to reach out to your potential buyers, where you try to connect with them on social networks like Twitter or LinkedIn, but you do it in a one-on-one way. Or you could use a one-to-many approach, which is you could keep interacting with content, responding to relevant content within different social media platforms like Twitter or LinkedIn, where your potential buyers are talking about a problem they're all facing, which your product is supposed to solve, or they're discussing a topic which is very pertinent to your business. Now, being seen and heard in these conversations is a great way to attract an audience inside. Putting out content that's relevant to your buyer persona, that's another very good way to get some incoming leads and then put them through the sales process. So you could leverage either one-to-one or one-to-many as you're launching your campaigns or trying to get your potential buyers. Now, the fourth part to building your sales engine is scaling. Once you've got the segmentation down, the offer for these different segments, you're launching campaigns, now it becomes essential to scale, because your bandwidth may only be able to achieve so much. And as you may know, business is a game of growth. If you become too stagnant, then you start to lose. In fact, if your results are stagnating, that suggests you are not thinking about scaling enough. Now, the easiest way to scale a good sales engine is to add more resources, which could be in the form of full-time or part-time hires, or even commission-based agents to help you achieve your outcomes and show you levels of growth that you have not been able to see. But keep in mind that as you bring in new folks into your sales operation, it may not always be easy for you, because it's going to be time consuming. People may not be trained in your product or service and your target market, and you don't have the guarantee of always getting the best resources to perform in the best way. So a good rule of thumb as you're scaling up is to have a methodical and rigorous training process for sales hires, so they understand the product, the target market, your sales process, and the tools that you may be leveraging. Another important aspect to the sales engine itself is analysis and a feedback loop. So as you're running these different campaigns, you need to understand what's working best, what's not, and where you should double down your effort. You should understand which resources in your organization are outperforming others, who are the laggards within your sales team, and how can you motivate them to do better? How can you create a better experience for them? How can you create better results for your sales organization? So having a feedback loop in place will allow you to tweak different things like messaging, maybe even improve the offer if your offer itself is not working out pretty well, or if a particular segment is not giving you as much juice, then you can look at another segment. So this is very essential, and this would conclude the different aspects of building out a sales engine. Now, some of my unique learnings in sales and BD, I would just like to share those right now. One of them is, sales is always done in parts. If you're going to sell something big, don't sell that something big in one go, you will most likely fail. So try to break it down into parts. If you're selling a software worth $100,000 a year, your first goal should not be to go ahead and position that $100,000 product in front of someone who may be a target customer. Instead, what you can do is first try to sell the meeting itself with that potential buyer. So your first aim should just be to sell the idea of getting on a meeting with you. Once that person actually gets on a meeting with you, then your next aim becomes to understand their pains and understand their desires. Then it possibly becomes to qualify them and to sell them a follow-on meeting if they're qualified. And in this follow-on meeting, you then sell them on the next part of the sales process. You keep doing that until you're further along, almost to the point of selling the whole 100,000 software. So it's iteratively just selling a different part of the sales process itself, where the buyer is being guided through, is being educated, you're understanding the pain points of the buyer, and you're then guiding them towards the final sale, which is the product. Besides this, it also becomes essential to follow up. Remember, not everyone is going to respond to you in the first go when you reach out to them through whatever means. It's very important to follow up. In fact, a lot of very experienced sales professionals like myself will tell you that the money is always in the follow-up. The more you can follow up, the more likely it is for somebody to respond to you. And remember, not everybody you reach out to will be interested in your offer. Even if you've studied the particular prospect down to the wire, there is no guarantee that they will be interested or they'll say yes. If you got yeses from 100% of the people, then you could have anything in life, but that's really not reality. Sales is one of the most practical professions our endeavors, and you realize that not 100% of people are going to say yes. But the fact of the matter is somebody somewhere, or a good percentage of people will say yes if you have a compelling offer, a compelling product, and you have a good sales process. So keep these things in mind. So hit the like button, subscribe, share it with your friends if you found this useful, and keep coming back for more. Keep hustling. There's a lot more content coming out on startups, VC, crypto, and so much more. Stay tuned.